How you doing? Welcome. Today we're going to be playing with an oldie but a goodie. I know what you might be thinking. Amber, this is old as balls and nobody cares anymore. Probably, but that's kind of the point. I feel like so often we spend all this time on YouTube talking about the next big greatest thing and we forget about some of our favorites. I've seen a couple of people do things like this where they will do like a whole face of products they know and love, and they won't do any new reviews. They won't do anything that is current and popular. They just go back to some of their favorites. But what I want to do is kind of similar, but a little bit different. Recently on my Instagram, I did a series where I did a different eyeshadow palette every day for 45 days of doing my makeup. And that was to encourage me to use all of my eyeshadow palettes because I had a lot and I love them all. I just wasn't using them all. I was using my new ones over and over and over again, and then moving on to the next one when I would get a new one. The project turned out to be a lot of fun. I got to know my own style, my own preferences, what I look for in eyeshadow palettes, what I like the most, and it really helped expand my skill set. For this series on my YouTube, I'm going to go back and use some of my favorite palettes that I kind of rediscovered during the process of doing that series on my Instagram. The one that I'm going to use today is the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. It looks a little like this. Just a great assortment of nudes, some great pops of color, your peaches, obviously, since it's the Sweet Peach palette. So today we're just going to create a nice soft look with this, something a little neutral with maybe a couple of fun pops of color in there. I'm going to go in with my MAC Pro Longwear paint pot here in soft ochre. It is what I used in my last video, and it is my favorite for eyeshadow primer. There are several other eyeshadow primers that you can use, but this one's my favorite, so. Today I'm going to start out with my Smoky Crease brush, which is a nice big fluffy brush from Urban Decay. It is their E201. And I'm going to start out with Peaches and Cream, which is just this kind of nice cream colored shadow that is going to lay down a base for me to work with. And I'm going to blend this all the way up to my eyebrow, and you really aren't going to see anything on camera, most likely. It is just kind of laying down a base that when I go to blend in my crease color, it has something to blend into. I don't always do this. It depends on the eyeshadow palette I'm working with. And honestly, anytime you get a new eyeshadow palette, I feel like you need to work with it a little bit, play with it a little bit, and figure out how it works best. Some people will tell you that an eyeshadow palette should work regardless of the style that you are using. And to some extent, I agree with that. It should be good quality regardless. But you can optimize the way an eyeshadow performs by learning how your particular eyeshadow palette will perform. Next, I'm going to go into Puree, which is this light brown color down here, kind of a warm brown. And I'm going to start working that through the crease. Just doing those windshield wiper motions. Until it's nicely blended. Now, this particular shadow is one that I'm probably going to go into maybe a couple of times just to build up that pigmentation and get the payoff that I'm looking for. These are pretty soft shadows, and they're a little on the dry side. They're not bad by any means. I enjoy this formula just fine, but they aren't quite creamy. They're definitely drier. So it's gonna fluff pretty easily through the crease and above. And so you may need a couple of layers to get it to work right. And I always sort of step back when I've applied and look at both of them just to make sure that they're looking even. You know, you don't want to be crooked. Next, I really want to deepen up that crease and the outer corner of my eye. We're going to go in with the tapered blending brush from Urban Decay. It is the E209. It looks similar to the other one, which is like this, but this one's fluffier, if you can tell. And this one's just a little bit more tapered, a little bit more narrow, and will help you do that detail work in your crease. I'm going to go into Charmed, I'm Sure, which is this darker brown color. And we're just going to start and like, when I say I am being delicate with this, I mean I am being delicate with this. And see how that fallout right there? That's because I'm being very delicate, and so it's not pressing it in right away, and B, because it's a little bit of a lighter, drier, finely milled formula, so it's gonna fluff and fall out like that. And that's okay. That doesn't mean it's a bad shadow. It just means that you need to work with it in a particular way. You see how I have a little bit of a harsh line right there between the lighter and the darker? That means I need to blend. But if I blend with this, it's just gonna spread the darker out more, and I don't want it to get any darker. So I'm gonna go back in with my other one, the fluffy one, and I am going to blend down a bit. And I might even go into that puree color again. And I'm gonna tap several times. I don't want a ton of product on the brush when I go back in. I just want enough to create a gradient. Do you see how it's created that gradient there? And it looks very seamless as it goes from the dark up to the lighter brown color. That's what I want. Obviously, if you want to be quick about applying eyeshadow, you can be quick about it, and you don't have to do all of this detail work. You can just fly through. And maybe one day I will demonstrate that. But I really enjoy the process of slowly building up my eyeshadow, working it on, and getting that perfect seamless look. It's just satisfying. You know what I mean? I'm going to go in with this color right here, which is called Tempting. It's a black color, but it has a little bit of like gold reflect in it. I don't know, but you can't really see the gold very much when you swatch it out like that. I like the color. I think it's a pretty good black, and it's not so intense that you can't be subtle about how you work it in. So I'm going to go in with kind of a flatter, fluffy brush again. And that is what I'm going to use to build up that outer corner. I'll go back and forth along the lash line, but then to bring it up, I just do this like tapping circle motion. Do you see what I'm doing here? Where I'm just like barely tapping the outer portion of my eye and just blending it up. And that kind of, I don't know, I just like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Especially with black shadows, you don't want it to go everywhere because then your look gets too muddy and you lose all control of your life. I'm going back in with the very tapered crease brush into Charmed, I'm Sure, just to add it a little bit to the very edge of that so it softens the black and creates that gradient that I want. This is honestly how it always goes. Like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna do a really natural look, and then I just want to smoke it out just a little bit, and I just want a little bit of drama. And like, girl, who are you kidding? You are gonna be the most dramatic version of yourself you possibly can be at all times, and you know this, and it's okay. me inside. Please. Anyway, now I really do want to go in with a pop of color, and I'm going to go in for this green color. It's like an olive green, and it's called Bless Her Heart. Honestly, I love the color names in this palette. That's so fucking Southern. Bless her heart, honey. What was she thinking? We just don't know. I'm from Missouri, y'all, so I'm allowed. All right, so we're going in with that green color, and we're just gonna put it all over the lid. Just like so. And it just adds, I think the green color adds a little bit of something different to the overall look, so that it's not just those browns and blacks. It is some green as well. Plus this green just plays well with those colors. This is a really, really great color story. And now I'm gonna go in with Luscious, which is this nice, like, kind of metallic-y, taupey, browny color. See that? I'm just gonna pat it kind of over the top of this green. I don't want to take the green away, but I want to brighten it a little bit and add some reflectivity to it. So that's what we're gonna do. So this is kind of the eye look right now. I'm gonna go do the rest of my makeup off camera, and then I'll be back to finish up the under eye, put on some mascara, maybe play with some lashes, I don't know. And then we'll wrap this up, okay? See you in a second. We're back. So to finish off, I'm gonna take that same brush that I used to deepen up the outer V and just run it along the lash line on the bottom and blend it in. I haven't added any new product. I'm just using what's still on the brush. I really like this technique. If I can avoid adding more product to the brush when I go to do the lower lash line, I absolutely will, because it keeps it from fluffing everywhere. Especially if I'm going to be putting on a darker color like this. I don't want it to fluff everywhere, right? I want to keep those under eyes nice and bright. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to highlight the inner corner. I always highlight my inner corner. I feel like it just added that one last little thing to your look that just boom, makes your eyes pop. I already put on highlight. As you can see, I used Anastasia Beverly Hills Nicole de Guerrero palettes, which I'm not sure if this is still on sale or not. I got it, you know, last year, I believe. But, you know, c'est la vie. I used 143 on my cheek, and so I'm going to go in with that same color on my inner corner. I always feel like that adds this touch of cohesion to my eye look whenever I use the same color on my cheeks that I use to highlight the inner corner. Oh, that is such a pretty gold. Like, it's just the right tone too for this look. You know what I'm saying? I think you do. And then I'm gonna I already blended, as you know, I like to do a kind of C where I blend my highlight into my temple and the very tops of my cheeks. But I like to kind of sometimes hit just that inner portion with a little bit, or that kind of top arch with a little bit more highlight, just to kind of make it pop a little more. Do you see? Yeah, I'm sure you do. Now we're going to do setting spray, and then I will do mascara after that. For my final step, I'm going to go in with mascara. I am using Milk Kush mascara. I kind of think the name is stupid, but I actually like the mascara quite a bit. It is just that kind of perfect. If you like the chunkier, longer, like if you like volume on your lashes, this is a good mascara for it. Can you hear that music? If you can, I'm probably gonna get copyrighted, get a copyright strike. My roommate is listening to music downstairs, which is fine. I'm almost done. I'm gonna add one last finishing touch, and that is some eyeliner in the waterline. We're gonna go in with Marc Jacobs in the shade, the fuck is this shade? Peridot. It's a little bit of a shiny green. And I'm just gonna line the inner waterline. I love the detail of just adding just a little pop of color in the waterline. I always think it just takes the look just a little bit over the finish line. You know what I mean? Just kind of, ooh, right there. Anyway, that's the finished look. I hope you guys really like it. I hope you liked hanging out with me today. You know, I feel like this is a great look that you could take, you know, either you could definitely go out with this because it's got like that dark, you know, if you want to go to the bar, have a beer, whatever the situation is, you could do that. Or you can go to work like this. I definitely would. You know, you can mix up the lip. I did a kind of a bright berry because I thought that would be a lot of fun. But you could also do, you know, a more neutral look. I would definitely go with like a warm toned neutral on the lip, and it would kind of change the whole look, I think, and make it a little bit more work appropriate, I guess. In fact, if you want to see that, let me demonstrate it right now. Okay. All right. So we're going to go in with 1993 from Urban Decay. And so you see what I mean about how it changes the whole look. It goes from this like bright, fun, let's go out, let's get some beer, to, hey, let's meet for a meeting and let's do some work and let's be professional, whatever. Anyway, that's kind of what I love about lipstick. I know that the whole point of this video was like to do an eye look, but what I love about lipstick is how it can transform a whole look and go take it from professional to party in like an instant. So this is, like I said, the final look. I hope you had fun hanging out with me. In the next video, I'm going to try to do another eye look with another eyeshadow palette. That's an old fave. Catch you next time. And I hope, sorry, I just got really mesmerized by this like endless loop of mirrors in here. Please enjoy seeing infinity. Anyway.